Okay. The new chapter is called American Imperialism, or Yankee Imperialism, as it was known back in the day. Okay. Now, if you remember from the definitions, imperialism is whenever you go and conquer new territory as a country. So, under imperialism, the imperial power establishes economic and physical control of a foreign land. And imperialism provided cheap raw materials and a market for finished goods. Okay? Natives are controlled by the military, and businesses use them as workers. Okay? So, y'all, basically it's like this, okay? Imperialism is the big powers, the developed nations go out and they take over an area and they steal all the resources, okay? The old system was called colonialism. And there's only one difference with colonialism and imperialism. In colonialism, you kill all the natives. But they figured out, through imperialism, we could just make them slaves. We could literally make foreign lands, foreign people, go out and steal their own resources and give it to us. Things like iron and gold, coal, whatever. Okay? Even bat dung. So guano, they would steal that too. It's actually used in making of gunpowder. And makeup, by the way. Used to be, anyway. So, yeah, ladies used to put bat poo all over their face. Anyway, so the whole point of this, y'all, is to get the cheap raw materials, okay? If I can get, imagine that you're a contractor, okay? You build houses for a living, and you have a magic credit card. You go to Lowe's anytime you want, and you can pick up all the material you want for free. Well, if that was the case, then what could you charge to build houses? Well, probably about half as much, right? So you would have an edge over every other contractor in the world because you can literally produce a house for half the cost. This is imperialism, okay? This is the same thing. They go out, they steal the materials from the natives, and they make them their slaves, and then they can produce things at half the cost, and everybody buys from them, and then they have a monopoly, okay? So that was the whole point. Major imperial areas of the world included Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, okay? These, if you understand what they are, these are the underdeveloped nations of the time period, okay? The people that had the guns, they were the ones that were taken over from the people that don't have the guns. And that's basically how it went for hundreds of years. So England was actually the most powerful of all of the colonial powers, okay, because of its navy. So England had everything in red on this map, every single thing. Now, there's an old saying, the sun never sets on the British Empire. Okay, I want you to think about that. The sun never sets on the British Empire. Look at the map. What does it mean? So it literally means that at some point in the day, the sun is always shining somewhere in the British Empire. That's how big the British Empire was. This tiny little island of Britain controlled all areas in red at one point. And remember, it was because of their navy. Okay? All right, before 1890, America's policy, foreign policy, was isolationism. Okay? This was given to us by the Monroe Doctrine that said that the Europeans should stay out of the Western Hemisphere. This is our hemisphere, okay? Well, we basically depended on our oceans to protect us from either Europe on this side or Asia on this side, okay? And if you look, this is a political cartoon. You have America with its high walls, right? And you have a nice little peaceful farming, community or whatever, and they're flourishing here. So, now after 1890, things change. America enters the imperial race, okay? So, at first, we didn't need to go out. See, Europe, all the Europeans were fighting each other over territory in Asia, in the Middle East, in Africa. They were fighting each other, and they were stealing, and they were trying to get that magic card for Lowe's, if you will, okay? We didn't need to, because on our continent, we had the entire West. In other words, we had so much land to steal from the Indians that we didn't have to worry about stealing from the Asians or the Africans. Okay. So technically, America was really late. We didn't switch over to imperialism until 1890, and 1890 is a landmark year because that is whenever the West was considered settled and it was not wild anymore. Okay. But after we conquered all the West, we went out across the oceans and we got our free Lowe's card. All right.